Hey everyone, it's day 141 of Star Trek Wars, and thank you so much for staying tuned with us. We had an amazing production last month with over 150 people involved, but now we're heading into post-production, and I'm so excited to introduce my new friend George Shaw. Thanks
Hey
so
guys.
much. Who's going to be writing a little bit of music for our next Kickstarter video, which is going to be coming out in about 2 weeks. So we're really excited this time. George, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I am a composer. I've worked on a lot of YouTube videos and a lot of web series and independent movies. And what I'm most proud of is Star Wars the Musical, which is a fan film that I wrote and produced and had such a great time making. So I'm already a huge Star Wars fan, so here I am.
Yeah, no, I've definitely seen the Star Wars musical. It's fantastic. You should definitely go watch it. I'm going to put the links in the bottom, just like any good YouTuber does. Oh, it's over here now. Oh, you could watch it here. I think you're underselling yourself here. I know that you've composed for some amazing things. Can you tell us a little bit more about what else you've worked on?
Sure. A lot of people actually know me from my work with Wong Fu Productions and Ryan Higa, Kev Jumba. Michelle Phan is another one. I even did music for a Jeremy Lin video on his YouTube channel. So a lot of YouTubers. I've also more recently been working with Geek and Sundry, which is Felicia Day's YouTube channel, and doing Will Wheaton's Tabletop. And actually what's interesting about Tabletop is on that show we had both a Star Wars episode and a Star Trek episode. And I got to write homages to that music for the show. So hopefully I've had a little bit of practice for this.
Can you give us a little idea of what you might be writing for the Kickstarter music?
Well, what actually made me such a big geek and fan of sci-fi was the Star Wars soundtracks by John Williams. I mean, a lot of the early music that kind of drew me into music and into writing was John Williams. So I'm really excited to kind of delve into that world a little bit and, try to write some music that sort of encapsulates not only Star Wars, but Star Trek and the grandeur and the space, flying through space and the battles and the Force and lightsabers and all that stuff.
So, George, I've been told that you've met some very interesting people. Could you tell us about that?
I went to school at USC. I studied music there, and USC is actually famous for its cinema school. So when I was a freshman, they were just opening the Robert Zemeckis Center for Digital Arts, which at the time was the brand new state-of-the-art building for green screen studios and digital whatever. So they're having the grand opening, and me and a buddy were just walking along. We weren't invited, so we obviously couldn't get in, but there was a side door that was open, and we just snuck in, and no one noticed. So I just walked right up to George Lucas and shook his hand. And I remember I was trying to actually meet Steven Spielberg, and I was standing like 5 feet behind him as he was talking to the governor of California at the time. And
Who doesn't really matter?
he never turned around.
Yeah.
But I did also get to meet Robert Zemeckis and shook his hand,
Oh
and
my gosh.
Alan Silvestri that night, which was pretty amazing. And I was like starstruck when I met Alan Silvestri, the composer of Back to the Future and Forrest Gump. So, I mean, that was my first experience of meeting famous people in LA. And actually, fast forward a few years, I was probably a junior or senior at USC. And I had met Tim Simonek, who orchestrates and conducts for Michael Giacchino. And he invited me to a scoring session. And it was the second to last episode of the first season of Alias. So I got to go to the studio and see the orchestra recording the music. And I met J.J. Abrams as well as Michael Giacchino that day. Of course, at the time I had no idea who J.J. Abrams was. I had no idea he would become the director of Star Trek and Star Wars. But I actually got to stand in the same room as he did. And also shook hands with George Lucas. So
Well, I'm hoping it rubbed off on you. I'm hoping all the talent and the magic rubbed off. Never washed that hand. No, that's really
in the last
exciting.
15 years I have not washed my hands.
Oh, well, I should have told me that earlier when we. Thank you so much, George. I'm really looking forward to what's gonna happen in the coming year. Okay, and as we've been saying, you gotta hold up the Vulcan sign. Live long, prosper, and may the force be with you. Bye.